Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and my son is not listening to me about having his phone turned down, but hopefully you won't hear it. Before we get going, reminder, if you want to have this video, the whole video plus the extended video in with no commercials, you can do it one of two ways. You can either go to daixrp.com to join through the Patreon, or you can click right here below all my videos, click the join button if you'd prefer to join through YouTube. Less than the cost of a cup of coffee. The market has recovered a little bit. We're at 2.72 trillion. XRP is at around 214, and we're going to talk about the bigger picture of things, what's going on. Here's one from Thinking Crypto. The on-chain data tells you everything you need to know about what happens next. Data from Sentiment shows whales are buying the dip after slowing down for a month. A big spike in wallets with 10 or more Bitcoin, whales anticipating higher prices. And here's the graph of what he's talking about. Then we've got this was from Donald Trump. There will never be a transformation of our country like transformation that is happening for all to see. In the United States of America, companies are pouring into our country at levels never seen before, with jobs and money to follow. That's key. Jobs and money to follow. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And this is something I keep saying. All this tariff stuff that's scaring the markets, all the different things that are the changes that are being made that have needed to be made for decades are happening. But on the front end, the market gets a little freaked out. But when the results of all of these things begin to flow in, it is on, folks. All right, let's watch this. This is Tom Lee, and he's a Bitcoin maxi. So as usual, all these guys frame everything talking about Bitcoin. Look past that.
Stacking?
I think so.
You do at 80.
Yeah, I think, part of this was Bitcoin seasonally was just not going to be attractive until after March ends, and now we're finally exiting March. And so I think not only is the calendar looking better, but as you're saying, the Fed and central banks are easing, QT's ending. I think that with positive Washington sort of tailwinds means I think Bitcoin can do well to the end of the year.
Right. People love it when I ask you what your year-end target is on Bitcoin.
Yeah, and
makes people very excited.
Yes, and I mean,
one crazy high again.
I think it's still 150 or higher as possible. Okay. I know it doesn't feel like it, but once we get through this tariff and that agenda around tariffs, markets can look forward to things that could be positive.
Yes, sir. And then there's this. I totally agree with this. Total crypto market cap is nothing compared to what's coming. If you think you've made money, you haven't seen anything yet. Regulations will wipe out bad actors, leaving a select handful like XRP positioned for the real money. Hundreds of trillions will flow in. Exactly. Now, Matt Hogan, who I think is one of the good guys when it comes to Bitcoin maxis, I don't think he's a bad guy. He's going to be at XRP Las Vegas, by the way. Go to xrplasvegas.com. Return since election day, as he also frames everything in terms of Bitcoin. Bitcoin 24.3%, gold 13.9%, SPY minus 2.9%, QQQ minus, these are indexes for the stock market. I think that's the S&P 500 ETF index. This is the NASDAQ ETF index. It's frustrating to watch Bitcoin chop sideways on macro uncertainty, but it's worth zooming out occasionally to remember we're making progress. So I did zoom out to remind him while he's talking about Bitcoin. XRP's up plus 200%. To be exact, I was way under what it actually is. It's right here. It's 265% on the year, folks. And by the way, I haven't done it yet, but I'm kind of actually hoping that XRP's price stays down, because I've been positioning myself to go in, back the truck up, which I will do. And then here's Senator Tommy Tupperville, who was by the way, I haven't mentioned, my Auburn Tigers, I went to Auburn University, they have made the Final Four. Interesting fact, while I was at Auburn University, Tommy Tupperville was one of the coach. He was the coach of the football team for a period of time while I was there. And I can remember driving through town. One time I was behind him. I think he had a big white truck, and he had a little dog that he drove around with in his lap. And I've never met the guy, but I did see that.
The Biden administration just hammered the American people with regulations. And tomorrow I'm dropping a bill called the Financial Freedoms Act. And it allows families and individuals to invest their retirement funds into crypto. Now, President Trump has become the crypto president. And we want to help him with this. This will be something good for everybody. Diversify. It's a free country. Do what you want with your money. But the Biden administration, they didn't want anything to do with crypto.
That's correct. Eleanor Terrett, Fortune magazine, stablecoin issuer Circle is eyeing April for its IPO and working with investment banks JP Morgan and Citi as underwriters. We'll have Circle's chief strategy officer, who is this guy, on Crypto America, which is her new, let me give them a follow. I think they had their account down for a while. For 4th episode Wednesday. And then she's got this, banking GOP, the banking committee has scheduled committee vote for the new SEC chair, Paul Atkins, on Thursday at 10 a.m. Committee will also vote Jonathan Gould, comptroller of the currency, Luke Pettit to be an assistant secretary of the Treasury, and Marcus Molinaro to be federal transit administrator. And then we've got this, Trump, you think Trump's family's investing in Bitcoin and crypto right now for no reason?
Ever more, the administration and family of the administration becoming intertwined with crypto.
Yeah, that's right, Caroline. Obviously, this is the latest of several Trump family projects in the crypto space. World Liberty Financial being sort of the most high profile, a so-called DeFi platform launched by Trump and members of his circle. This was new news this morning that we did not know was coming, but Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. are investors in a company that is basically forming a joint venture with Hut 8. Hut 8 will be the majority owner of it, 80%. They are transferring all of their Bitcoin mining rigs to this new subsidiary, and it will be called American Bitcoin. Now, remember, on the campaign trail, President Trump made this promise that he wanted all Bitcoin to be mined in the USA, which a lot of people in the industry were skeptical that he'd actually be able to fulfill that promise just because of the decentralized global nature of Bitcoin. And we haven't heard much from the president himself about how he plans to follow through on that plan. But we do know now that the Trump sons are a part of this operation, this joint venture with Hut 8 to mine Bitcoin in America.
And once again, it's all about Bitcoin. And you've been writing some great stories across your team about what's up with Ethereum at the moment, which is the number 2 player still. But
Ethereum bores me. Now look at this from BlackRock. This is a new era for investing. This is Larry Fink's letter to investors. And look at this little clip right here. He says, if the U.S. doesn't get its debt under control, if deficits keep ballooning, America risks losing that position to digital assets like Bitcoin. And then here's Charles Hoskinson, just so you're aware of what all is coming. See, this is the perfect setup these markets are in no way showing you what's coming, but after this legislation, it is on like Donkey Kong.
There's 2 bills that are currently being discussed in the House and Senate. The one that's most likely to pass in the next 60 to 90 days is the stablecoin bill. And then the second one's the market structure bill. Once those 2 bills pass, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook are going to say, hey, we're crypto people now. And so they're going to put wallets in their platforms because they can capture an enormous amount of the market. When you add their user bases of 3 billion people, and when they have those 3 billion users, it's like they have cryptocurrency wallets right in Windows, right in Facebook, right in your cell phone apps, right in iOS. And because they now can legally hold stablecoins and use stablecoins, they're going to do it because they don't like paying the processing fees on credit cards. So they'll issue their own stablecoins or partner with people to do that, and they have feeless transactions inside the system. And then suddenly these tech companies become financial service providers. And they have so much money and so much power that they'll push through. Once that's there and you have a good regulatory regime, it's very easy then to click a button to create yield products on top of that. So that's what's going to bring the value flow in, because the users already are wired into that system. Their money's already there. Their credit cards are already there. Their purchase power is already there. And there's just too much temptation not to do that. And the competitive equilibria are such that they have to do that. Once these two bills pass, that opens the floodgates, and that's 3 billion people that enter in.
The floodgates will open. Now, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com. That's the Patreon. If you would prefer to have these videos with you get the regular video plus the extended video with no commercials. Or if you prefer, you could go through YouTube, click the join button below any of my videos, and you can join, and it's less than the cost of a cup of coffee. So go for it. Okay, I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button. Tell your friends and family that my wife is in the room and just laughed at me because she's not heard me do these videos very often, and she thinks parts of what I say are funny. I think it's a little different. Son, you don't think that it's funny when I do my videos, do you? It's kind of annoying? Oh my gosh. Can you believe that he would say such a thing? Okay, here we go.